At my best friend's engagement party, she grabbed her fiancé's arm and laughed loudly. Good thing I didn't end up like her, still single, still pathetic. Everyone turned to stare as I sat frozen, clutching my drink. Later that night, her fiancé slipped me a note with a secret so damning, I had to decide whether to destroy her big day or let her destroy herself. I still remember the exact shade of orange the sky turned that evening. It was warm for a spring night, one of those days where the sun doesn't fully set until almost 8 and the breeze makes everything feel like it's going to be okay, even when it's not. I stood in the mirror for 20 minutes trying to pick the right outfit. Not too fancy, not too casual. I didn't want to look like I was trying to compete with her, but I also didn't want to be the frumpy single friend in the corner. That was the role I'd already been cast in. I just hadn't accepted it yet. Stephanie, my best friend since college, was throwing her engagement party on the rooftop of some downtown hotel. I had never heard of it, but the place had a 3-month waitlist and a $1,500 booking fee, which told me right away this wasn't about celebrating love. It was about showing off. I almost didn't go. I hovered by the RSVP button for days. But every time I thought about skipping, I remembered the time she drove 6 hours to pick me up from a bad breakup in Dallas. Or the time I got bronchitis and she stayed up all night spoon-feeding me soup. Those versions of her felt real. That Stephanie was gone now. I kept hoping she'd come back. I pulled up to the venue around 7 p.m. Valet took my car. I straightened my blazer and walked in like I belonged there. The rooftop was decked out like something from a magazine. Fairy lights, champagne towers, a live string quartet. It was a scene straight from the curated life Stephanie had built. She spotted me right away and came over in her signature heels, red bottoms, of course. Hugged me like we hadn't spoken in months, even though we had a full text thread from 2 days ago. So glad you made it, she said in that voice she uses now. Soft, sugary, fake. I nodded, smiled. Wouldn't miss it. Then, her fiancé walked over and gave me a polite handshake. He was nice, polished, corporate finance type. Older than her by about 6 years. Quiet, reserved. I always got the feeling he watched everything but didn't say much. Things were fine for a while. I found a table near the edge, nursed a drink, talked to some people from her gym, her job, her book club. All groups she belonged to now that didn't include me. Then came the toast. The music died down. Someone tapped a mic. Stephanie stood up in the center, looking like the cover of a bridal magazine. She thanked everyone for coming. Talked about how hard she and Ben worked to build something real. Said some generic stuff about love and fate. Then she laughed. And said the thing that cracked something open in me. With her arm linked through Ben's, she scanned the room, and her eyes landed right on me. God, she said, laughing. Good thing I didn't end up like her, still single, still pathetic. The air froze. I heard a fork drop. Someone coughed. A few chuckles broke out, the kind people give when they're not sure if they should laugh or run. I just sat there, stone still. My hand wrapped around my drink like it was the only thing keeping me grounded. I looked at Ben. He looked at me. And I saw something there, something sharp, like guilt or shame. Stephanie didn't look at me. She just threw her head back and laughed again, like I was an inside joke only she understood. I stayed for 15 more minutes. Just long enough to save face. Then I grabbed my coat and walked toward the stairwell. I didn't say goodbye. As I turned the corner, I heard footsteps. Wait, someone said behind me. It was Ben. He looked flustered, like he wasn't used to doing things on impulse. Can I talk to you for a second? I blinked. You already made your choice. I don't need pity. He shook his head and pulled something from inside his blazer. A folded-up piece of paper. She's not who you think she is, he said. I found this 2 months ago. I didn't know what to do. But after what she said tonight, I think you deserve to see it. He handed me the paper and walked away before I could ask a single question. I stood in that stairwell, the bass from the rooftop pulsing behind me, and opened the note. It was a screenshot of an email. Stephanie's email address at the top. Subject line. Blackmail, final offer. I didn't even understand what I was looking at first. Then I read it. and reread it, and felt my stomach roll. Stephanie had slept with her old boss, something she'd casually mentioned once over wine but brushed off as a harmless thing. But this email was more than that. It was a threat. The boss's wife had found out. Stephanie had attached photos to the email, photos I didn't want to imagine, and warned the wife to stay quiet. To let the boss leave the company quietly. Or else. I know your daughter's school. Don't make me burn her life too. She deserves a daddy, right? I sat down on the stairs. My legs wouldn't work. Stephanie wasn't just mean. She wasn't just shallow or petty or fake. She was dangerous. And Ben, he was marrying her in 3 weeks. I should have walked away. But I didn't. She humiliated me in front of everyone. She looked me in the eye and made me feel like nothing. All while holding on to secrets like this. That night, I went home and poured myself a glass of wine. I read that email a dozen times. Then I opened my laptop and started planning. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling until the sky turned gray and my room started to fill with light. That email sat on my desk, folded and waiting, like it was daring me to do something. The truth is, part of me wanted to burn it, toss it in the trash, forget about it, and move on. But the other part, the louder part, wanted to make her feel small, like she made me feel. I wanted her to look around at the world she built and watch it crumble. I didn't decide right away. Instead, I started digging. I remembered she told me once that her old boss, the one she had the affair with, lived in Westlake Hills. She used to brag about the size of his house and how his wife pretended not to know. So I started searching online, real estate records, company rosters, LinkedIn, even Facebook. Took me 2 days to find the wife. Her name was Melissa. She was quiet online, but not invisible. She posted photos of her daughter, ballet recitals, school awards, trips to the park. I couldn't bring myself to message her. Not yet. But I saved everything. Every screenshot. Every name. Ben texted me once during that time. Ben, did you read it? I didn't reply. 3 days after the party, I got a message on Instagram. From one of Stephanie's bridesmaids, a girl named Tara. We'd met a few times before. She was always the nice one in the group, not fake like the others. Dada? I know this is weird, but are you okay after the party? I stared at my screen for a while before typing back. Me? Not really. Tara, I didn't laugh. Just so you know. What she said wasn't right. I took a deep breath. Me? I need to ask you something. Do you know anything about Stephanie and her old boss? Anything at all? She didn't reply for a few hours. Then, Tara, we all knew. We just didn't know how far it went. I called her that night. She picked up right away. Her voice was quiet, like she was afraid someone might be listening. She made him buy her things, Tara said. Not just gifts, expensive stuff. A purse that cost $5,000, jewelry, even a down payment on a car once. Did Ben know? I asked. No. He only met her after she left that job. She told him she quit because it was a toxic environment. I felt sick. She's not who you think, Tara said. She's worse. That night, I wrote Melissa an email. Not threatening, not dramatic. Just simple. Y Melissa. You don't know me, but I think your husband's past might be connected to something happening now. I know about the emails. I'm not asking for anything. I just want you to know that the woman who wrote them is about to marry someone who has no idea. I attached a copy of the email Ben gave me. I didn't expect a reply. 2 days later, I got one. It was one sentence. Melissa, meet me. She gave me an address, an office building in Bee Cave, just west of Austin. Tuesday, 11 a.m. I called in sick to work. When I walked into the coffee shop on the first floor, I saw her right away. Long dark hair, suit jacket, serious eyes. She looked tired. You're the friend, she said. I used to be, I said. She pulled out a manila envelope. Set it on the table. I've been holding on to this for over a year, she said. Evidence. Lawyers told me I had a case, but we settled privately. He lost his job. We kept it quiet for our daughter. But I never stopped watching her. I knew she'd show up again. Ben doesn't know anything, I said. She nodded. Then he's walking into something ugly. We sat in silence for a while. Then she leaned forward. I can't stop her wedding. But maybe you can. She pushed the envelope toward me. Inside were photos, texts, statements, proof. Everything I'd need to burn Stephanie's world down. And now I had a decision to make. I took the envelope home and locked it in my nightstand. Just having it there felt dangerous. Like a live wire humming under my bed. I didn't tell anyone I had it, not even Tara. The more people who knew, the faster it could slip out. I needed time. I needed a plan. And then something strange happened. Ben called me. Not text. Not email. An actual call. I let it ring out the first time. Then he called again. I answered on the third ring. Why didn't you reply? He asked. What was I supposed to say? I snapped. Thanks for the blackmail file. He sighed. I didn't mean to drop it on you like that. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was drowning. Then why are you still marrying her? I asked. Silence. She's not the same person I proposed to, he finally said. Or maybe she is, and I just didn't want to see it. I didn't say anything. I've been watching her lately, he added. She lies constantly. About small things. About big things. She told her maid of honor I proposed after a private helicopter ride. That never happened. She said her parents paid for the venue. I paid for it. I felt the blood drain from my face. Wait, Stephanie told everyone her parents paid for the wedding? Yeah. Why? I pulled open a file on my laptop. Bank records. I'd asked Tara to quietly send me some photos of Stephanie's Instagram posts, things she'd bragged about buying, tagging brands, posting receipts. I matched some of them to items listed in Melissa's settlement documents. Some of those things were paid for with money from the blackmail. Ben was paying for everything now, but her first round of funding came from extortion. I should have stopped there. I should have just handed everything to Ben and let him walk away. But I didn't. Instead, I did something worse. I made a copy of everything in that envelope. I scanned it, uploaded it to a flash drive, and hid the drive in the most obvious place in the world, inside a wedding gift box. The kind with a ribbon and a glittery tag that said, "From an old friend." Then I mailed it to Stephanie's parents. It was cruel. I know that. But they adored her. Always acted like she was perfect. Like the world owed her something. Her mom once looked me dead in the face and said, "You're lucky to be in Stephanie's circle. She elevates people." I wanted them to see who they'd raised. I didn't expect the next twist. That weekend, I went to pick up groceries, and when I got back to my apartment, Ben was sitting on the steps. I called off the wedding, he said. I blinked. You what? I confronted her. I told her about the email. About Melissa. She tried to deny it. Then she got angry. She screamed at me, told me I was pathetic for listening to jealous women. Then she started crying, begged me not to leave. He looked up at me. His eyes were red. I left anyway. I exhaled. She's not done, I said quietly. He nodded. I know. The next day, Stephanie posted a story on Instagram. A black screen with white letters. Betrayal hurts. Especially when it comes from the people closest to you. Some women will do anything to destroy happiness. But truth always wins. That night, my car was keyed. All 4 doors, deep cuts. Someone also left a dead bouquet on my doorstep with no note. I knew it was her, but she was unraveling, and I was just getting started. I didn't call the police about the car, didn't even file a report. I wanted her to think I was scared, that I was backing off. I wasn't. Instead, I waited for her to implode. 3 days after Ben called off the wedding, Stephanie posted a photo of herself in the dress store, smiling with her mom, captioned, "Still moving forward. Can't stop fate." Ring sparkles, I almost laughed. She was pretending like nothing happened. Like Ben didn't walk away. Like the entire lie she built wasn't falling apart in front of her. Then Tara called me. She's planning a new wedding date, she said. Told everyone Ben had a medical emergency and needed time to recover, but the wedding is still on. I could hardly believe it. She really thinks she can fake a wedding? I asked.
No.
She thinks she can manipulate him back, Tara said. She said she knows how to fix it. Her words. That's when I knew I needed to finish it. Not just for me.
For Ben.
For Melissa. For that kid. For anyone she'd ever manipulated, used, or destroyed to get what she wanted. I reached out to a blogger I knew from college, Allison. She ran a mid-sized local gossip and event blog called ATX Unfiltered. She lived for scandal. But she also had ethics. I trusted her. I told her everything. I sent her redacted versions of the emails, the photos, the texts. I gave her Melissa's number. I gave her Tara's name. And I told her to sit on it for 1 week. Then I bought myself a ticket. Stephanie's rehearsal brunch was still scheduled, even though the groom had disappeared. She told people he was on medication that made him antisocial and recovering privately. She said he'd still be there for the actual wedding. She was bluffing, but she was going through with it anyway. I showed up late. The moment I walked in, every head turned.
She saw me.
Eyes wide, mouth half open. She wasn't expecting me, but she smiled. Fake and hollow. I didn't think you'd come, she said, hugging me too tightly. I leaned in and whispered, You sure you want me here? She stiffened. Pulled back. Of course. The rest of the event dragged like a play no one wanted to be in. She made speeches.
Toasts.
She thanked her bridesmaids. Thanked Ben's family, who weren't even there. Then just before dessert, I stood up. I have a toast, I said loudly. She froze. Everyone turned to look at me. I held up my glass. To Stephanie, I said. A woman who always finds a way to get what she wants, no matter who she has to hurt to get it. Cheers. A few awkward claps. A few people looked confused. One of the bridesmaids slowly lowered her fork. Stephanie's face was white. Her hands gripped the tablecloth. You're not funny, she hissed. I smiled. I'm not trying to be. Then I left. 30 minutes later, the blog post went live. Bridezilla or blackmailer. Local influencer accused of extortion, threats, and wedding fraud. It had screenshots. Quotes from Melissa. Even a photo of the fake wedding invitation compared to the real one, Ben's cancellation note. It spread like wildfire. By the time Stephanie got home, the post had been shared over 3,000 times. Her Instagram comments were flooded. People were tagging her sponsors. Her wellness brand pulled out within hours. The gym she modeled for dropped her the next day. Tara sent me a screenshot. Stephanie's account went private, then disappeared altogether. That weekend, I got an email from Ben. Thank you. Not just for what you did, for how you did it. You gave me a way out I didn't know I needed. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The last I heard, Stephanie moved in with her parents in Houston. She tried to rebrand herself as a spiritual coach, but couldn't get traction. Too many burned bridges. Too many people who finally saw the real her. As for me, I didn't walk away clean. I lost a few friends. People who said I went too far. Who thought I should have just walked away. And maybe they're right. Maybe I did go too far. But when I sit on my porch with a drink, watching the sun go down over the city I've always loved, and think about the girl who called me pathetic in front of 50 people, I feel peace. Because I didn't just take her down. I made sure she couldn't climb back up. Not this time.